Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Toca Race Driver 3, carrying on with the career mode. Today, we're going to be starting with the 60s Grand Prix cars. I will start by saying I did do the first couple of races in this series before my capture crashed. I've been having some issues with the Elgato software not playing very nicely, really. So yeah, I have driven these cars around the first couple of circuits. The cars that we're using are the Lotus Type 49s. The track is an interesting selection of tracks. So we go to Zandvoort and Spa, which is perhaps not too surprising for these cars. Then we go to the Nurburgring short layout and the Silverstone International Circuit. I would have expected, if we've already gone to two long tracks, we would have gone to full layouts, and then the short circuits are much shorter races as well, which seems peculiar to me, but yeah, there we go. Zandvoort is a track that I quite like. I quite like going around Zandvoort. Spa is a kind of a venue that I like. I'm generally terrible at Spa, so yeah, I might not do too well when we come to there. Zandvoort, I would like to see in more games. I think it's a great track. However, I am not particularly good at it with these cars. I'm not quite sure what it is, but yeah, I don't seem to go too well. Also, these cars are somewhat more difficult to drive than I was kind of expecting. I was thinking that the classic, the 1930s Mercedes that I drove a while back in their little championship would be the hardest to drive cars because they've got such a huge amount of speed, and I was expecting them to be have no grip and terrible brakes and so on. But that wasn't the case. The Mercedes were really quite nice cars to go racing with, whereas these are just that little bit awkward. Also, this turn here is horrible. It is so bumpy. It's so easy to spin the car out around there. Yeah, gotta be quite careful through that turn. I'm not good at this part of Zandvoort. I can kind of do where the short circuit is. I can kind of do that part quite well, but this part out here, I really struggle with getting the car around quickly. Oh no, I'm just avoiding all of the apexes. It seems it's not good. What place are we in? We're into 10th. So not too terrible a start. And then on the brakes down here, kind of really chuck the car in there. That was a kind of a panic, chuck it in and then try and not end up in the back of the cars ahead. Still, I gave him a little hurry up bump through there. No. We've got a little bit of understeer, and I'm going to end up in trouble if I do that too often. Somehow we got away. I thought I was going to have a really big accident there with running a wheel onto the grass. We're up into 9th. We're doing 190 miles an hour before getting on the brakes for turn 1. I'm going to be stuck on a really tight line through there. Somehow we're survived. I thought that was going to end in tears. Turn 1 is my good corner on this track. I can brake a hell of a lot later than the AIs can. Now we're kind of playing Lotus tennis with my car in between a couple of the AIs. It's never good when you get a game of tennis going on while you're trying to be racing. Oh god, careful, he does it across here. No, that was close. Just the smoke starts pouring off the rear tyres as I'm losing that grip. Is not a good thing to be seeing. Somehow, though, we are in 7th place, not for much longer, although is he going to make the turn? No, he's not going to make the position stick, the overtake stick, sorry. So we're going to have to try and fight and defend now for the remainder of this, for these few corners, I say for the remainder of the lap, but, oh no, we want second gear through there. The gears are super long in this car. Took a little while getting used to that one as well. We can kind of defend up until this point, and then we can go a little bit more perhaps on the attack through here. I can get a good run out of that turn, but then I got nowhere to really use it because this turn here is quite fast, and I'm not good enough around it, really, to do too much against the AI car. Sometimes they have a little lift around that final corner. I don't necessarily blame them. It's quite nasty. It's quite bumpy down that part of the track. Oh, we've got problems. I braked quite early to make sure I didn't end up. I saw 5th place was on the inside line where I wanted to be, so I had to brake a little early to make sure we didn't collect him. Oh, well, I didn't brake a little early for that one there because I wasn't expecting them to have as bigger a brake as they do through that part of the track. Fantastic. Well, we are up into 5th place now. Done a little bit of damage to a rather valuable Lotus. I apologise for that one. Okay, we're going to have a little lift. I want to go quicker, but I can't because there's absolutely nowhere to put my car with them two battling for position. Again, quick through there. This is where I suck, basically. Through these next couple of corners, I'm not brave enough through that turn. There is more speed to be had, but I'm worried about going out wide and putting a wheel on the grass. Oh, this is all very tense. It's all very tense indeed. I would really like to get a podium here if I can. I mean, yeah, I want to win the race if I can, but judging from the positioning of the cars and the amount of time I have left, oh no, that was not good. That was not good at all down there. I'm breaking every bit of my vehicle. I got on the brakes and the car just started sliding. A bit of a lock-up through there. Lockouts haven't really been a thing in this game, if I'm honest. I've put all of the assists off. Most of the time, it's just, almost all of the time, it's been stamp on the brakes and you get stopped, except for down that corner. I don't know whether it's hilly, bumpy, what it is. Something, though, causes the cars to get upset. And like here, I'm full on the brakes, no lock-ups, no problem. And we're up the inside, we're up into third place. Can I catch the leaders by the end of the lap? There's no point doing anything too stupid, considering I've already got a relatively poorly car after that last inadvertent shunt with everything crossed up. Yeah, well now be careful, but I've still got to be fast. They will still, look for any way they can to get back past me. So I've got to be careful across that bumpy section. Oh god, it's trying to balance it all on this final lap around a track that I'm not particularly good at. It's really, really scary. It was fine. If it's a track I know and I know the cars well and so on, I'd be fine, but this is all the tense. Just want a podium. I'm happy with third at this point now, okay? I'm not going to do... There's nothing I can really do about catching those leaders anyway. No point trying to go for it and throw everything away. I'm going to be a little earlier on the brakes through here. Where I do seem to be quick is getting the car out of this turn. So I'm hoping, yeah, we can get far enough away. A couple more laps and maybe a bit more confidence from me. Maybe I could have taken a victory or caught up to them. I'm slow out of here as well. I don't really care, though. We're going to take a third. That's not a bad start. Not a bad start at Zandvoort. Oh. Oh, that was a tense one. I had my breath held for most of that final lap there. It wasn't a particularly great final lap. I was too cautious, certainly, for setting a good lap time, but I did what I needed to, basically. Oh, right. Also, this championship is a little bit, I say it's a little bit mean. Points only go down to 6th place. So, yeah, not many people score points. Now, I am trying to get third in the championship. So it's a half-decent start. That can sometimes work for me, can sometimes work against me. If the AIs go for kind of, if they go for a spread-out finishing order throughout the event, can be quite useful, because sometimes the championship leaders don't score points in the next round and so on. So it can work in my favour. Equally, if you have a bad round, you can get in a fair bit of trouble as well. So yeah, it's going to be tough to keep things up. Next race we are at Spa. It's a slightly different layout to Spa than I'm used to. The final corner is different. Caught me out massively when I drove this track previously. I'm sorry about the recording crashing. Nothing I can do when it decides to do that. The AIs here have a couple of dodgy areas. Eau Rouge, certainly on the opening lap, they are not very fast through Eau Rouge. And you've got to be careful down here because there's practically no indication of where to brake. You're braking before you can really see anything of a corner, so it's almost pure guesswork down that part of the track. We got ourselves a little bit carried away across the bumps and stuck on the back of a car ahead, which is less than ideal. And then we come to this corner. I like to call it the car park, because for whatever reasons the AIs have decided that they can do 30 miles an hour around here and nothing more. Oh, no. Oh, what the... Ah! I'm not having that, I'm sorry. If you guys are going to prat around doing 30 at that turn, and when I do manage to get a manoeuvre past you, you then spin me out, I am going for a restart. Screw you, AIs. Yeah, I don't know what it is about that particular turn. The AIs just cannot do it. They just outright refuse to go around at any speed. It is very, very bumpy. It is quite a nasty turn in that respect, but yeah, they go super, super slow. This first lap is really kind of a case of be cautious to try and find a way past the slow eye, or for the first half of the lap, for me anyway. Be cautious, try and find a way through slow AIs, and then the latter half of the lap, I'm not very good at, and then try and defend from the from the now fast AIs. I don't know where to break down here. Oh, it's all incredibly crowded. There is a lot of cars and a lot of wheels that can easily get tangled up with one another and have vehicles pointing the wrong way. This is about the only turn, I think, on a track ever where I actually want to be on the outside, because of how stupidly slow they are, and it's just ridiculous. I will be honest, that was a slight bit cheeky on my part. I did kind of have most of my wheels off the track. They were kind of on the curb, but when you're that slow around that corner, I'm sorry. I have very little sympathy for that, because that is absurd. I don't know why it is the rest of the track. They're, challenging. The rest of the track, they're quick. Oh, I've buggered up massively, I think. No, somehow I got that stopped. Didn't think that was going to work through there, but never mind. Oh, got a little bit understeer. Yeah, these things do not quite have the grip that I was kind of expecting from them. I think the Mercedes have more grip than these cars do, which seems bizarre to me. I wouldn't have thought it should be that way around. But yeah, I know these are very, very quick. You're carrying a lot of speed towards some of these corners, but the Mercedes were doing a similar thing. And they might not quite have had as much speed as these, but they weren't that far off, and the Mercedes was so much nicer to drive. I'm also not very good at taking that turn with any speed. And then down here, this is where the track changes ever so slightly. It's a much different a turn. This bit here is vicious. I may have got a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting, so I didn't know where to turn in, and well, it's just black. And it's incredibly easy to go across the grass without realising it, because you simply can't see. So yeah, that is a bit to be wary of. Unfortunately for me, championship standing-wise, well, we have the leader ahead of me. Now, I could have really done with him being outside the top 7, or the top 6, sorry, so that I could make up some nice point advantage on the cars around me. Unfortunately, it looks like he might score some points. So yeah, that's a little bit of a pain. If you guys could get back here so I could have a race with you, that would be good. I'm braking a little bit early now. I'm just not confident down there because I can't really see the corner. So much guesswork is going into bits of this track that, yeah, I'm not massively quick. But it doesn't really matter if I'm massively quick through the rest of the lap, because I can basically make up all of the time that you could ever possibly need around there. It's ridiculous. Oh, bugger. We've also got the second place in the championship is up in the top 5 as well. No, I don't want consistency from you, AIs. I need you to be inconsistent. I need you to crash and fall off the road and score no points. I mean, Nurburgring and Silverstone, I'm hoping, should be okay for me. They're tracks that I know relatively well and have done okay on in the past on this game. But yeah, I could do. I mean, I need all the advantage that I can get with these cars. They're tough. Definitely the toughest thing that I've had to drive on this game. A good challenge. Don't get me wrong. They're not sort of silly cars to drive. They're a good challenge, but yeah, definitely the more difficult of the vehicles. Managed to break my suspension ever so slightly. I think that was from the running across the curb. The AI like to take this corner flat out, and I'm always scared to. It is doable. I'm just a little bit of a coward, really, down there. I just have very little in the way of trust in this car, really. It's not to my personal liking when it comes to handling characteristics. The rear end is a little too likely to step out on you and not be recoverable. You'll get slowed down for this first hairpin. No, don't spin. Also, they've got a lot more wheel spin than even the V8 supercars. I was kind of expecting the V8 supercars to be, well, I mean, they are utter beasts. But you could jump on the throttle really quite early with them, and you never really had that much wheel spin from the cars. This thing, though, around the slower corners, very easy to get some big wheel spin from the Lotus. So just more things to think about, more things to worry about. We've got a lovely run off the top of Eau Rouge, and we're going to get up the inside and don't get too crazy across the bumps because it is quite nasty. Oh crap, I changed down a gear by accident. Ah no, we've lost the lead. Oh bugger. I don't really want to be... Where is he going to brake down here? Can I get up the inside? Okay, good. I can get past before they do their little slow speed cruise around. Quick, run away. I mean, there's a really horrible bump on the exit there that I'm always a little nervous about going across and putting power down, because I can imagine it wouldn't take very much to spin the car. There's also a horrible dip down there. That is a really, that is a really nasty, bumpy section. Oh, no. Get off there. Get off there. Don't do anything stupid. Now I've got the lead. Christ. Oh dear. It is going smoother though. It certainly does help having done most of these laps, or most of these races before, done 3 laps beforehand. I say it's going smoother and I'd probably fall off the track. I should stop saying things like that. It's always the way. The minute you say something is going well, or even relatively well, that's when you make silly mistakes. Yeah, I pissed away all of that huge lead that's that I had here, which is less than ideal. We're going to, we're going to have to be brave, because otherwise they will have a look up the inside, and that can cause some problems. Fortunately, I'm fairly good under brakes down here. The AI is not going to be able to do anything. Don't cut the corner. I actually give it a super wide berth. I'd rather do that and get second place than go across there and get a time penalty and then drop to God knows where in the field. That will do. That'll do nicely. I will take that one. Wasn't a perfect lap to finish with by any means, but we got a victory. That is the important thing. Consistency is the is the key, really, with all of this. I will take that victory. I will take the points. Put me up to first in the championship. Well, good news is that while me, second and third, have been scoring points well, the rest of the field hasn't so much. It's basically going to be between us 3, and, well, provided I can keep in that, I can progress. Nurburgring is going to be a bit of a challenge, only being 2 laps long. This is going to be pretty difficult to get through. I'm just going to run out of time, I think, to get through the field. I'm hoping, make up big time, maybe at turn 1. It should be the chicane is going to be a big overtaking opportunity. I've really got to make the most of pretty much every opportunity I can get to be getting past some cars. The good news, I see a silver name falling through the order. That's what we want. And hell, if I can just keep ahead of these guys, that would be alright with me. Come on now, can we get our Lotus up the inside here? I think we can. I think we can get a position. Please don't. Don't hit the rear of my car. I don't need any more any more shenanigans. I've already got more than enough to worry about right now. I don't need any assisted help, scares, etc. I kind of panicked because they were all of a sudden going quite slow. Ooh, it's bumpy around there as well. I'm noticing all of the little bumps in this car because I'm just terrified of it breaking sideways and me binning it in a wall somewhere. Well, we're up into 7th, and my 2 main championship rivals are behind me. But I could do with getting at least into the top 6 to try and get some more points. Where are we going to break down here? Where do we need to break down here is perhaps the bigger question. Oh, okay, they are still quite early on the brakes. We're up into 5th. So now we're into the championship points at least. No, we're not going to do anything silly. We're going to do anything silly around here. I thought about kind of going on the throttle, dive to the inside. Kind of worried about spinning the car across the bumps. Oh, and either way it's been quite good because I've got a mega drive down there. Oh no, I braked too late. Braked far too late. Oh no. Okay. Oops, I lost a wheel. That was it. That was a my dumb. That was a really my dumb. I didn't quite realise where I couldn't get away with braking down towards turn 1 with these cars. I didn't even look at the speedo how fast I was going. So yeah, that was oops. Let's not do that one again, okay? We had a fantastic start on that first race, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it as well. Oh, better even. Look at that. 14th to 6th down turn 1. Okay, this race better be the one, because I don't think I'm ever going to do that well again. Down that, that was a blinding start. Absolutely 100% perfect on the brakes there. Spot on with where to stop to make turn 1 and get all of the overtakes done and so on. Now, can I continue? That's impressive stuff. We're going to make it 3 wide. Sorry. I got it there, and then just the tiniest of knocks, and then I can't steer the car, and then we all ended up in a little bit of bouncy trouble. Oh, no, don't pay attention now. Don't piss it all away. Now we're in 4th. It's much nicer being on a track that I'm relatively comfortable with. I wouldn't say I was amazingly good at Nurburgring, but a track I'm much more comfortable with than Spa. Oh, I'm joining the brake really early crew down there. I think I'm still better on the brake. Yeah, I was very early on the brakes there for me anyway, but still better than all of the cars around. Now, we're coming down towards this first corner that is, yeah, a really rather big stop. It's a nasty turn 1 here at Nurburgring. Let's brake before the big Mercedes bridge. That seemed to do the trick. That's nice. Okay, we're around turn 1 without spearing into anybody, and I think we're actually closing a little bit on the cars ahead and my main championship rivals. I don't know if they're in the points. They were certainly well down still. I think there might have been one in 6th, but they're still fairly well down the order. More good news for me. If they can finish outside the points, then that would be helpful. Although if someone else does get a victory, it does mean that somebody will be promoted almost instantly into the fight regardless, because they get 10 points for a victory, and we only had, I think I had 14 or 15. So yeah, any victory will put somebody into the championship fight. Oh, I've done really terribly around this part of the lap. We're still a fair way ahead of the cars behind. Can I get a podium on the run up here? Can we be late on the brakes but don't end up in the side of anyone? Yes, we can. We got it stopped. We got ourselves to second. The leader is too far gone. Maybe, again, with a couple more laps, probably could have done something about him. As it is, though, that was a big dive. That was a really big dive. I think a little bit more luck than judgment on, on that one there. We got it, though. Whew. Okay. I will take that. That is a good result, I think. Getting the second there. How are we doing championship-wise? Okay, we're on 20 points. So, yeah, we're pretty good. Yeah, so that victory put Ransford up into second in the championship just from that race alone. Right. Okay. Let us continue. I was trying to figure out, I think whatever happens, I will get at least third. I think if I've calculated that, I just had to kind of briefly pause to try and figure out maths. I think I'm pretty much guaranteed a third place in this championship, regardless of what happens here at Silverstone. Again, though, it's a nice track to finish on because it's a track that I'm much more comfortable with. It's nice going to these tracks that you're comfortable with, knowing that, well, it doesn't really matter too much. Admittedly, it's nice going to the tracks where you'd have no idea if you've already kind of sorted the championship out. Nothing worse than having to do, well, oh, why did we do that, car? Okay, I'm going to have another go at that because bugger it, I don't want to drive a broken car. I think what it might be is not so much locking up of the wheels, it's that I'm steering and braking. That might be what's doing it to the car. That would explain things, yeah, because that section of track would be a part where yeah, I think that's what is causing the problem. Is not so much locking up as it is, yeah, kind of basically overloading everything and having some problems. So that's the silly thing that I was doing. Okay, figured it out. I'm sure people were shouting at me regardless. So we're going to have to be quite careful of that through that section. I mean, the rest of the lap here probably isn't going to be too bad. Oh no, I lied. I forgot about that bit there. Okay. Oh, that's really nasty because that braking zone is a curve. Yeah, so if you steer, I guess say excessively, but I wasn't really steering that much. Any kind of steering and braking a very heavy braking in this car, and you're going to have a big off, pretty much. That was less than ideal. Oh, again, I'm having to do it to avoid running into the cars ahead of me. Oh, well, I'm okay. I you know what I said about being, not really mattering what happens in this race, and Silverstone being a track I'm used to. Yeah, these are tough. These are tough cars to drive around these bits here, because I'm having to brake really kind of quite early to kind of get it all under control and bring it down to a sensible speed to get it around these turns. So, okay, that is a really nasty braking. That's not normally a problem I have at that braking zone as such. I'm kind of just used to taking it in a certain way in every other game that it is okay with. But with these cars, oh no, there's a wheel on the gravel trap, but we're just about okay with it. Come on, clean the tyres up. We're quite nice and slow around there, which is, again, good news for me to pounce and get a position. Unfortunately, we need to get 6th for it to actually be worth anything, really. Now we're coming down here at great speed, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do too much through here. Is there a car going to go up my inside? No, I can't get it off the pissing curb. Right, that curb is worse than the bloody Oschersleben ones. I'm on it, trying to steer the car off, and it just drags me more and more to the left. Well, I thought Silverstone was going to be a nice track for me to have a good fun final race. This is turning out to be vicious. Yeah, I can't say these are the cars I've enjoyed the most driving. They're definitely the most challenging, if that's what you're most challenging so far, if that's what you're looking for. I can't say, though, that they are my favourites. And at any point where I am quick, suddenly the AIs are really early on the brakes. Oh, maybe I was late. I don't think I was that late under braking around there. Slow. Maybe. No, it was worth a try at least. We're going to lose all of those places, I think. Probably. Wow, yeah, this Silverstone is tough with these cars. I'm going to piss off into the grass over here. I think my car is pulling quite badly to the left with that. But you can see the wheel wobbling about at the front there. Yeah, these are tough buggers to drive. Come on, can we cut back on the exit? Oh no, cut back a little too soon. I don't have any turning with broken suspension. Please stop pulling to the left. It'd be really nice if you would stop doing that one. Well, maybe I can actually complete the race without losing a wheel at least. Oh no, I don't think if I do complete the race, it's going to be with great difficulty because my car doesn't really turn to the right very well. And that's kind of an issue on a circuit where most of the big corners are to the right. We're really having some issues. Look at that front wheel go! I don't know if over time that's the sort of thing that could vibrate and break loose. I don't know whether Toca does that. But that does not look healthy. Get off the grass. I can't. Oh. I would have thought at slow speeds. Like I say, I thought at slow speeds it would have not been quite as bad. I thought once you'd be going at 130, that vibration would be terrible. Oh no, I've got no turning to try that at all through there. I've got absolutely nothing in the way of going this car. Yeah, okay, we're in some trouble. Well, we'll find out, I guess, if I didn't matter where I finish in this one. Come on, get turned. At least at the end of the championship, if I do have to score some points in this round, it will let me restart an individual round. It won't make me restart the entire bloody championship, which I'm grateful of, certainly. Oh, come on, get turning. The damage is pretty damn cool on this game. I will say, when you do end up smacking the car more, this is about the first time I've actually had damage affect my car. I mostly drive the touring cars, and they can get away with the odd bump, and the GT cars and so on. They too can get away with the odd bump without doing too much. It's a classic Grand Prix car is always going to be very fragile, and yeah, one hit can give you some hefty damage, and that is very noticeable. Very noticeable and very pulley to the left in this case. I mean, theoretically, I could still win the championship in here if we have a previous winner doesn't take victory, or whoever does win this doesn't have too many points yet. It could quite easily still have me win the championship. But we will have to wait and see as we round this corner with the wobbliest wheel of all time. Come on, Lotus, we can make it. At this Silverstone track, there's those two braking zones that are the big curved ones. I just wasn't really thinking about it, are big issues. These have definitely been... Oh, no, we're not going to be able to be flat out around there because we don't turn anymore. I don't know if that was gradually getting worse and worse with the damage there. There's a very wonky wheel to finish. The question is... have I done enough? I think I will have done... Ransford is going to win the championship. Ransford won it. It was practically nowhere, but 2 race wins in the final 2 events. Did well for him. I got second, with Meadows coming in third, which is I'll take the second place. Could have been more. Certainly, had not had a little issue at Silverstone. These cars are a real challenge. Good fun though to drive. Will take a little bit of getting used to, certainly. Them ones. Alright, what have we got to choose from next time out? Okay, guys, your options are Type R Trans Cup, so by the looks of it, it is Civic Type R touring cars, essentially. World GT NGT, so I don't know if that's 2 categories, or whether that's just there's 2 GTs in the name, who knows. Or the Clio V6s. I have done the V6s before, though. So yeah, let me know which one you would like to see me compete in. hopefully I will do a better job of not stuffing it into the wall / other cars than I did with those Grand Prix cars. Yeah, they are challenging buggers to get the hang of. Anyway, that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.